Everyone, it is October the 5th, Sunday. We are about to chill and chat. First time in a couple of weeks we've managed to do this. Gotta remind myself how I actually do this setup. Oh, I got camera down here. Oop, right, I gotta do this. Pulling my arm back so I don't accidentally call the the fishing line. We got Twitch. And we got chats. Okay, there we go. And then same thing. Alright. Now that we're live, we can go to Creator Dashboard. I don't think anything new has happened since our follow from MULB. Nope. Go ahead and close that out. Close out our collabs. And add the adverts. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and start up the 90-second timer. And when we come back, we will be ready to begin in earnest. So I'll see you guys then. See if it actually runs this time. There it goes. Ooh, we got big trees to harvest. Can put down some little trees. It's funny that we're like growing trees so that we can harvest their leaves, so we can use it as currency. It's a money tree. Oh yeah, this is not a good angle for the stream. Okay. Yep, so exciting. Alright, now we can go down to the actual fishing spot. Welcome back. We're not quite on site yet. You get to watch this weird walking while I'm sitting animation that's going on here. See any news? Lots of news, I guess. The new CPU, which essentially that's been really the biggest change with the new build. I went from a Ryzen 2600X to a Ryzen 7600X 3D, which has been a sizable improvement. See, is this the angle that I like? I want to say it is. Yeah, we got the waterfall behind us. Always fun. Okay, I'm gonna, let's see, get our bucket down. I want to put it where the camera can see. Right about here should be good. And then my spring bamboo fishing rod, I still like it quite a bit, with my glowing beach ball. It's a fun visual. And in Mayo's honor, the sunflower accessory. And I'm going to get the scoreboard over here just so I can do those. Alright, now we're ready to chat. Yeah, new CPU has been working great. I did a test right away last Wednesday, going to the post. Oh, going to the post open session dance. Ooh, got a nice big one. Wow, that was a record for that one. Yeah, I got the post open session dancing with just whoever was left afterward. And I was having some problems trying to display everybody, but with just my friends, it was working okay. And actually, I'm being in virtual desktop ended up being a little bit better than Steam Link, funny enough, which kind of was the opposite before. It does feel like as they update and sort of compete with each other, sometimes one's better and sometimes the other's better, but I am happy to continue to let that play out. But yeah, when we had Frisch's session, I didn't have to call any friends. It went through without a hitch, except for when like Steam Link crashed. But then we did another session on Friday with some dancing. Had quite a few Japanese members of the Japanese community for VR chat come and join us. And that went very well. I was on virtual desktop that day. And then yesterday's workout session went well as well. So I think we're in good shape with this current setup. I don't know when I'm going to upgrade my graphics card. I'm still on my 2070 Super. I assume it'll be sometime next year, but I really couldn't say when right now. Wow, like so many record breakers today. Been a really nice session so far for like improving my stats, I guess. I don't know exactly how that works. I'm assuming it's attached to my account. So for next week, I will say we're almost certainly going to be able to dance with Ellie again. Assuming she's feeling better. She's been feeling sick earlier this week. And I haven't been able to see her as much. I actually do need to talk to her about TwitchCon in a couple of weeks. We'll see how that goes. Another high score. But hopefully we'll be doing that on Tuesday. I'll let y'all know if not. I'm trying to think if there's anything unusual happening this weekend, this coming week. I don't think so. I think on Thursday is going to be a normal session. Friday should be normal. Saturday should be normal. And Sunday. And when I am gone at TwitchCon, though, there will not be our Friday, Saturday, or Sunday stream because I'll be in San Diego those days. The other days, though, I think Thursday night will be streaming as normal. This will be on Thursday 17th, I think. Big shark. Oop, ready to claim again. Yeah, this one's going very swimmingly. Oh yeah, that shark is my current record. Anything else? Not really immediately. Like, it seems like we're in a bit of a breather now, which honestly is great. Like with the new equipment. Well, I guess I can talk about the name. I mentioned that I don't name computers until I build them, and the name that I decided on for this current build is Pachiban, which is a Thai word that means the present. Currently, right now, at this moment, like it's just a concept of time that means now, like the present. And I think it kind of has some meaning for me because like it was sort of a duress situation, like things were failing, nothing was working, I couldn't stream, I couldn't hang out in large groups. And so it didn't become a matter of like, well, which CPU do I want to upgrade to? It was more of a, how fast can I get back up and running, you know? Like, which X3D CPU bundle can I find a deal on? And my dear friend Neo Deneo, who has a micro center nearby, found a nice bundle for me and offered to buy it and ship it to me, which she did, and that's what allowed me to be back up in a matter of a week. And a lot of those Micro Center bundles are on-site only, which is why I couldn't take advantage of it myself. I was thinking maybe I could do something this Black Friday at Newegg when they do their bundles, because I'd seen some pretty good deals on their bundles before. I was hoping I could get something with an X3D chip, because that one's sort of made for gaming, and especially VR with so many users connecting to the same instances. So that was good. So that's what we did with the idea that, gonna go for a new graphics card down the road. And probably around the same time I do that, I'm gonna also get a bigger M2 chip. Like I said, probably sometime next year. So my VRAM issue has not been solved and probably will not be solved for the foreseeable future, but thankfully that was not causing me to be unable to render anybody, or like for me unable to participate in the VR dance sessions, both the weekend sessions and the open sessions, which made me sad because I enjoy dancing with my friends in VRD. Is that a bug I hear? Hey Skittles. Skittles decided to join me. That's another thing that's been on my mind lately. I don't know if I've been talking about this too much on my stream, but Skittles is getting old. She's either 18 or 19 years old this year, which for a cat is quite advanced. So she's, her health has been on the decline, and she's actually gotten a tumor in her face, and it's been benign, but it's also the kind of thing where, like, we don't know if, surgery is going to be okay for her. So we're just sort of leaving it and hoping, as long as she's still comfortable and happy, like she's still herself, like she still has her same personality. And aside from like occasionally scratching at it, like it obviously bothers her a little bit. She's been more or less normal for her, which unfortunately also she's not, obviously as energetic or as strong as she used to be. She has trouble climbing and jumping and running about, when she'll like shakes her head, she kind of throws herself off balance a little, and I have to be very gentle with her. So I would just worry that I don't have too much time left with her, trying to make memories and, make sure she's happy and we can enjoy our last months together as best we can. And it's sad. I think there's going to be a day where I'm just very sad because I will have lost her. But the day isn't here yet, thankfully. So she's right here, being a bug. Aww, you buggy. Yeah, she has to wear a cone because otherwise she'll scratch the tumor to the point where it'll cut open and bleed, and I don't want her to get infected because there's really not much we could do about that. So she'll probably have this cone for the rest of her life. So I just gotta get used to being there. And she doesn't like it, obviously. It means there's, spaces she can't fit into, and it probably annoys her. She can't scratch her face, and she can't even really clean herself effectively. She gets so upset when it's time for her to be brushed or cleaned. But, it means most of the time she can still be happy, and we don't have to worry about, some infection, making her sick and taking her from us early. And she doesn't understand, nope, don't scratch that. That hurts you. And got me thinking a lot about intervention when it comes to our pets, but cats don't last this long in the wild, so we were intervening long before this point, so it's just one of those things we have to accept. She's got a cone on her face. She's a bug. But But yeah, she's here now. She's been spending some time with me more lately. And she likes to cuddle with me in bedtime and, try to take care of her. She has some strict dietary needs, though, and it's something that I have trouble keeping up with. But thankfully, it's the kind of thing that Ava has been very vigilant about. So she's been taking good care of our Skittles in that regard, and I've just been sort of trying not to screw it up. The kittens are doing well. They actually recently went to the vet as well. I think there was a concern about, well, both of them in one way or another, but they seem to be well and happy. So that's good. I'm feeling sleepy. I got, I'm trying to think, what time did I go to bed last night? I think it was probably around 11, which means I got my full 8 hours again. I mean, it was all at once, too. It wasn't split in half like yesterday. I still find myself being sleepy. I think, you get behind, and I guess you get to be my age, and it's hard to just jump back from that, But I hope, I need to maintain my vigilance when it comes to making sure I get to sleep early and then get to work early, because that's, one, the overtime's been very good, and two, like, it's allowed my numbers to be good, and like they've been happy with my performance at work, so that's sort of been a load off my mind. And it'll be nice for when it's time for me to go on my trips. Obviously San Diego's in a couple of weeks, but a couple of weeks after that is the Netherlands. That's gonna be big. I did my passport stuff last weekend to get that all re-upped, and I did it with the expedited schedule to make sure that it got done in time, because I got worried, like once it got to be 6 weeks out, it's like, well, better be on the safe side. But I got a notification that they were already done processing it and they were sending it back to me, and I should have it next week, so that will definitely be a worry off my mind. Now I just have to worry about the shutdown and any delays that might come of shortages in air traffic control and what have you. And if that weren't enough, there's also been problems in Europe between the two airlines, British Airways, among others, and also the, I think it's KLM, it's the Netherlands airline that I'll be flying on while I'm there. Also having issues with delays and cancellations, so it's a lot of question marks, but it's the kinds of things that I have no control over. Just like hope for the best, and if there are any issues, just deal with it when we get there. It's basically all you can do. But, it's something else to worry about. On to something a little more fun. The Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster came out, and I have been fortunate enough to play it a little bit. Not a whole lot. I'm still in Chapter 1, but I'm enjoying the new voice acting, the remastered look, and the remade cutscenes and all that. I've only seen the one, but it's pretty good. I gotta say, something I wasn't really expecting, but I read about it in a review, is that even the generic units, like, they'll have their little barks and just lines that they say, and it gives them so much personality. Like, it definitely makes me feel like, they're more, I guess, impactful than they used to be. Like, for me, it was all about the named characters, like the ones from the story. And the generics were just like, whatever. Other people from the Academy, who cares? But now I'm like, oh, let me see. What kind of personalities do they have? Like, which jobs should they be based on how they behave, Like, it's been a lot more interesting for me to approach it that way. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying myself. Maybe it's from being an old person, but I do like old games. But I hope other people get the chance to play it and enjoy it. And I think, funny enough, the story is finding its way to being topical again, just like with Andor. Hey, Baggy Boo. It's funny. I got through my first 2 ranks in my fishing log, my dailies, so fast, and now it's like I haven't gotten a single point. But the minimum is like 190 some points, so these are going to be rares only. I don't think I've caught a rare yet today. Only been uncommons and lower. I did something for the first time this week also that excited me very much. Chatmans, who is one of the heads of VRD, had a weekend session this last weekend, and I went to the EU session since Chatman is in Europe. Chatmans is in Europe. And I got to actually dance, and I got to meet some other European-based dancers that I haven't really interacted with much, like Dutch and Scone. I sent them friend requests, and they actually accepted. That was really nice. I look forward to hopefully dancing with them going forward. Here and there. I don't know, I may drop into EU session now and then. I've been doing mostly NA, just since that's a little bit easier for me in my schedule, but I don't know, I might do the occasional EU, we'll see. I think I had this plan that whoever was hosting it, if they were based out of EU or they were based out of NA, like I would go to whichever one that they would be at. Since it's not unthinkable that I could go to either or even both, since I'm off on Saturdays. I don't have to worry about going around work schedule. Excuse me, I'm still yawning. Yeah, Chatmans was really cool. He recognized me, even though, like, never saw my avatar, never heard my voice. Just off the things I was saying, Chatmans was like, I'll bet that's Leo, and it was me. I made a comment, and I think, I don't know why, it's something I noticed, but like, when you watch Chatmans dance, Chatmans just looks so freaking happy to be dancing, and there's just so much joy that comes off. And I mentioned this to Dorp while we were dancing, and Chatmans turns around and is like, I'll bet that's Leo. I definitely do appreciate that. I try to catch Chatman whenever Chatman says on the stream. But it's almost always while I'm at work, unfortunately. Just kind of the nature of the beast. Of course, there's really no better time for me to watch a stream than while I'm at work. Well, I guess listen to a stream. Because if I'm not working, I'm like in VR more than likely. I think it's because I've been gone for so long. No one's come and joined me today. For a while I thought I had Dorp, but Dorp's been trying to go to bed earlier and get a better sleep schedule. And sometimes Vish would join me, and there was a little while there where we had like a nice little crowd of people turn up. But it hasn't been the case this time. So it's just been you and me, dear viewers. If you want to talk about something or bring something up, feel free to say so in the chat. I'm just kind of here to ramble for a little while longer, and I've kind of run out of bits of news. I guess I could talk a little bit more about just other things that have come up, but you know, there's no real, like, just like with the songs that we play on stream, there's no real rules or structure or like things that I'm trying to hit necessarily. Just kind of here for this time. I went to go say hi to the Thai community earlier while we were just kind of hanging out at a nice little glade world, and I got to meet someone new. So Goes by Lucky and is fully as a blind user, which I would think like, oh, how do you play VR chat that way? But you know what? You do, and you get some enjoyment out of it. So I really can't fault anyone who would find whatever happiness they can. Regardless of whatever challenges they may face, it's inspiring. But I got to listen to Lucky singing. It was very nice. And Lucky speaks very good English as well. I was a little worried because I have a little text-based translator that goes over my head whenever I say something, and will write whatever it hears out of my speakers into English in front of me. So I can usually communicate with most members of the Thai community okay. But it turns out Lucky speaks very good English. So we could speak normally. That was very nice. But, you know, that was just a quick hello before breakfast. I didn't really stick around too long, and in fact, they were having some kind of staff meeting, so I didn't want to really interrupt that. They had a recent collab with the Pada Corporation, which I believe is another roleplay group. That wrapped up, I think it was something like, I don't know, between 4 and 6 weeks. They sort of were jointly meeting on Thursdays during a little bit earlier than the normal Ico Fantasia time. Hi, Yui. They were biting really good, but when I hit my third layer here for the dailies, for my third daily, I haven't gotten a single point. And I think a lot of it is because I've been getting a lot of uncommons and no rares. I only need 2, but if I've got 0, then I'm so as far away from it as I can be. But, you know, it's mostly about the chatting and hanging out and less about, you know, actually fishing. Although it was nice to not have to worry about getting it done. I think it would be a first, though, if I'm sitting here for the full hour trying to fish and it just never happens. Like, I don't think I've gone more than 30 minutes and not have all my dailies done. So the fact that we're approaching 30 minutes and they're not done is quite remarkable, if I do say so myself. But, you know, I'm confident that I'll eventually I'll get 1, and then 2, or like eventually one of those boost areas will drop. Excuse me, the fish will be a lot bigger, so that should help me get my 2, or at least 1, surely. But yeah, let's see what else. Anything interesting happened? Got to talk to Minkus again. That was fun. There's a thing that I like to do when when I'm about to go out of VR chat and I have a little time, like I'm not, you know, really pressed for time, is I like to send little messages. It's a request for invite technically, but since you can attach a message, I have a message that just, you know, it just says, just saying hi, hope you're doing well, and that's, you know, I send it and then don't think about it, because the point is not to get invited, but I did get invited. They're finishing out some kind of DJ show, and it turns out Minkus is about to go. Yeah, imagine. I think they did ooh, here we go, there's a rare for us. They did at one time, and it doesn't count. It was only 183. But yeah, they did have a feature for that at one time, but people apparently hated it and did not want it, so they got rid of it. So I'm just gonna keep saying hi with invites. And I feel bad when people do invite me and I can't go. And I feel like a jerk. But most people get the message. Aww. hopefully they bring it back or bring back something like it at some point. Because yeah, I mean, it was nifty to be able to send messages, but I think some people like, you know, being inaccessible for whatever reason. It's not like people don't, you know, bug you via Discord or some other method. So like, it's both a negative and an excuse to say, well, VR chat doesn't need it. So, well, okay. I guess there's no secret how I feel about it, but that's okay. I do my thing. But I sent that, and because it was an invite or a request for an invite, the fact that I got one was just a nice bonus. But yeah, Minkus is about to go on a trip for 4 weeks. I assume where, but I don't actually know the answer. So I guess I shouldn't share because like it would just be speculation on my part. But I'm glad I got to spend a little time with Minkus before he goes on this trip, and we'll be out of VR for a month till about the beginning of November, I believe he said, which is around the time I will be in Europe. So it'll be 6 weeks until I can see him again. It was nice having a little hangout time. Got to spend some time with Mayo too. We went to a music world where they had both an upper and a lower. It's not really a display. It's just a series of circles on the ground and in the ceiling that can change colors and grow and shrink and move to try to make it look like different environments. And I think they had this seasonal motif that was pretty cool. And we just sat there and chatted. Ava came back from work like with a really bad headache because she had gotten some vaccines, and so she was not feeling up for my warbling to like make her headache worse. So we sang a little bit, but we didn't sing as much as we planned to. That was what our hangout initially was. It was going to be a karaoke time, which I'm always up for that, by the way. If any of you guys are like, I want to hang out with Leo, but what can we do? Fishing is a good one. I'm always up to fish. That's what Lux and I did last week when we hung out. And I'm also always up to sing karaoke. But, you know, I'm okay with most activities. The only thing I really don't like is being frightened. Like, if you want to go do a horror map or something, probably better to invite someone else. Yeah. Which is always the thing with October, because that's what people want to do. That's right. We lost fishing. I suppose this is about as good a time as any. I need to go ahead and run an ad, so I'll be back in 90 seconds, and then we will carry out the rest of our chill and chat time. I'll see you guys in 90 seconds. Let's see if it actually starts today. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Man, I really do think there's a non-zero chance that I do not complete this daily. I can't believe I caught a rare and it wasn't big enough. That's wild. And Skittles left me. Where did she go? I don't know. Ooh! She's behind me. Hey, Becky. Sometimes she doesn't want to be pet. She just wants to lay next to me. And that's good. That's actually how I won her over. Is I don't insist that she spend time with me, or I don't insist that she let me pet her, or that she be around me if she doesn't want to be. And once she does climb on me, she knows that she can get up anytime she wants and walk away, and I'm not going to stop her or like hold her down or anything. And so she trusts me. It's been nice. Oh, I hear. At least I thought I heard it. Yeah, behind me. We've got a boosted section coming, so I'm going to reposition after I reel this fish in, so we can hopefully get this Wait, am I not even... Oh no, I'm not even locked in place. That's funny. Okay, we're gonna move over here. You guys are gonna get a different background where we're looking at the little sleeping area instead. Oh, here's a small fun fact that many of you probably already know, but I used to sleep in this world before I joined Ellie and Maya's sleep group. So I would be right back there, snoozing on some beanbags with the sky like night, with the sound of the water flowing. Something I really enjoyed. Okay, fishing pole. Bucket right there, and scoreboard. There we go. Alright, let's get some bonus fish. Oh, start with a tiny one. It's literally right here, so there's no worries about aiming or like not getting in there. I just need to basically lower the pole in the water and that's it. Ooh, we got it at rare. Is this one big enough? Maybe? Yes. Alright, we finally got one. Now we just need a second one. And then we'll have our dailies done. Yeah, that was actually one of the songs I sang for Maya during the brief time that we were in a karaoke world. There's a song by Extreme called More Than Words that I was thinking about singing for Skittles. But I don't know if I knew it well enough, but I decided to sing it for Mayo. And it went okay. I think I still need to kind of listen to it a few times and get the nuances of the verses and where the notes go up and down. It's one of those songs where it's a little non-standard. So I have to... Ooh, here we go. Big piranha. Oh, come back up. There's no mooching in this game. Nope, not big enough. That's still in bonus? Nope. I screwed it up. Let's try it again. It's funny, I said I wouldn't have to worry about screwing up the cast, but I did. Ooh, a super rare. Surely that's enough. Oh, I don't think I've had a super rare piranha before. Alright, I'll take it. I hope that's not my grand... See, I currently have a super rare Atlantic cod, which is my favorite fish in this world. So I don't want that to get knocked off my board, even if I get something that's bigger, but I don't think this piranha's going to do it. It's $267.99. I don't think that's... Oh, Skittles, don't scratch, Bucky. Yeah, it must itch her. That's why she tries to scratch, but she just kind of clacks her nails against the cup, so she can't penetrate it and like cut open the wound and hurt herself. Although sometimes she's managed to get it sort of moved enough. But yeah. I feel bad that she's hurting, but it's better than the alternative. That's why she wears the cone in the first place. Yeah, I think next time we do karaoke, I'm gonna sing the song again, and that way you guys can hear it too if you want. Yeah, it's funny that like I got the idea to sing it while I was at just a private hangout with Mayo instead of like doing it in an actual karaoke event. I tend to be very whimsical in deciding what song to sing. Sometimes I just kind of feel like singing a certain thing, or sometimes I'll get an intention to learn a particular song, like when I did What Does the Fox Say? I sang that last week too. Yep. Well, on Friday. I shouldn't say last week. It was just a couple of days ago. Ooh, a big one. Oh, that's the end. No more bonus. But that's okay because we got our dailies done. We can actually close this too. I'll continue to fish for the rest of our time just because that's what we do, but it's funny that our dailies took almost 40 minutes. Hi, Nomads. Good to see you. We're fishing. My chillin' chat show, as I call it. First chillin' chat we were able to do in, I think, a month. I don't know if it's been at least 2 weeks. I think the last time... Hey, speaking of Atlantic cod, oh my god! I'd do that joke every time, y'all. I'll tell you where it's from. Back in the 90s, before we really invested in a robust English localization for Japanese video games, they decided that, well, we can do that ourselves. I mean, people in Japan know English, and sometimes they have some weird priorities. Like the director of the first Resident Evil on the PlayStation decided that because they can use, video files, they were going to do these pre-rendered cutscenes starring the characters. So you had Chris and Jill and Rebecca and Barry and Wesker, all those with live actors for some of the cutscenes. And so they cast these people based on how much they could find someone who lives in Japan that looks like these characters that they designed. And on top of that decision, which, that's fine. I get it. You want to have a character that looks, or you want to have an actor that looks like the character. But they did something on top of that and made them the voice actors too. So not only are they playing the characters during the cutscenes, but they're also voicing the lines in the game. And that's one where... Oh, am I quiet? Okay, let me actually see if I can fix the balancing a little. Let me finish. Yeah, when I set up Pachiban, I did not rebalance my OBS, so I'm actually really glad you did this because that's something I've been meaning to do, and I haven't thought about it since coming back here. Okay, I'm going to bring it down. Did I say that? Okay, there we go. We'll try 3 decibels. Or no, let's bring it down to 6 decibels. See how that does. Okay, so let me know after this one, after I start reeling in a fish, how this goes. Because, the ambient water sounds probably isn't that much of an indicator, but once we're, listening to the music as I'm reeling it in and talking, we'll see how that balances. And I'm sure it's been loud with the dance music, too. Of course, that might be what people are there for. It's like, hey, Leo, shut up. I want to listen to the music. Oh, now, pressure's on. Let's see. How's it going to go? I finally get a bite. There we go. Alright, how's this doing? I'm talking while I'm reeling. See how the sound balances on the stream. Alright, what's the verdict? That better? Oh, I know. I was just joking. I really shouldn't do that, actually. I mean, I always considered self-depreciation to be a safe way to make jokes, but sometimes it makes my friends feel bad when I do that, and I shouldn't disparage myself, even if I'm just making a joke. I don't really mean it, though. I don't think, I like talking, and people want to listen to me. I think that's good. But yeah, if you want me to adjust it anymore, lower the fishing, the world sound effects even more. How many cars did I get a test drive? 4. Oh, that's something I can talk about. Thank you. I completely forgot. On Saturday morning, where I normally will be hanging out with some friends or like going to the Leo Town, Ava had told me about an electric vehicle EV test drive event that was happening at Gateway Community College in Phoenix, which is where she worked for a time. So I got to go down there and test drive some electric vehicles, which was super fun. Turns out there's a network of people who live in the region. Some of them still in Arizona, some of them in California, which I got to meet a few of them, which was really nice. Basically, take their personal cars, like their personal EVs, like clean them up, and just let people drive them for a little bit, just to kind of promote and advocate for like the wider adoption of EVs in general. Which, unfortunately, it's very much preaching to the choir for me because I already know I want an EV. Like I'm completely sold, but still, individual models that I keep saying I want to drive, I've never been able to actually drive. So, and now that I can say that I have, but we went out there that morning, and I got to drive. This was crazy. Like the lines at electronic or at the EV Expo, which is where I got to test drive like last year for like the big trade show. Like you were waiting like at least 10 minutes just to get into a car. But this time, like, I was basically getting out of one car and getting into another. So even though the event was much shorter, it was so dense with test drives. Like, I probably could have driven 6 cars, except that there were some specific ones that I wanted to drive that were very popular. So first, I thought, well, I'll drive one. I'll see if I can get into a car. Because we got there kind of late, so there were only like 3 hours left. So I thought, well, I'll see if I can get into a car and drive it. So I picked the Ioniq 6, which is like if someone told me we're gonna buy you a new car, nothing crazy, like don't get like a 6-figure car, but like if you want a new car, like I'm on Wheel of Fortune or something, and it's the bonus round where like it's the final puzzle, and like they have a new car in the envelope. Like, which new EV would I pick as would be my favorite? But obviously nothing like as much as I would like a Lucid Air Grand Touring, like they're not going to give me a $100,000 car, but I picked the Hyundai Ioniq 6 as the one that I got. This guy from Tucson had brought his to drive, and so I got to check it out. And unfortunately, it was my first one, so I kind of was getting used to regenerative braking again, like basically where you're driving with one pedal. If you don't know how EVs work, they still have brakes. So it's not like you don't have brakes, but when you're dealing with the accelerator pedal, and you have it on one pedal driving mode, you'll push. There's no like coasting, and the car doesn't move forward unless you're pushing in the accelerator. And it's almost like a clutch in a manual car where like there's a place you're putting it in that's kind of neutral. So you're pushing it in a little bit before you even start to move forward, and that takes some getting used to. That's right. Back into the battery, and because that's how like electricity works. I mean, you use electricity to turn a motor, but you can also turn a motor to, give electricity. And you're literally putting ions back on a mineral, in which case it's lithium. The lithium ion, you can put the ions back on with electricity just as much as you can use the electricity to turn the motor. So it is very smart. But yeah, like, and it feels like you're braking. Like you're driving the car and you let off the accelerator, and suddenly the car starts to slow down because there's some real resistance. Like it doesn't want to go the other way, but. So it actually does slow the car down quite a bit. And if you're driving normally, like on a city road, and you're not going nuts, like you don't have to use the brake ever. Like unless you have to stop suddenly for some reason, like someone brake checks you, or I don't know. There could be, any number of reasons you might have to start to brake hard. But like if you're not braking hard, you just don't touch the brake. I mean, it's really cool. But yeah, so anyway, I got to drive the Ioniq first. And that was nice. I enjoyed that one. It didn't really feel like my car, funny enough. It felt pretty different, but I did enjoy driving it. It was a little bit lower than my car, and we didn't really get into like features and stuff. He just kind of, treated it like I was getting in an EV for the first time, which I get. A lot of people, like, that's the whole point of the advocacy. So, you know, I took some pictures of it, and we rode around the course, which was just like, one city road, go down a few miles, then turn around and come back the next block over. So nothing too crazy, but and that was nice. I did enjoy that one. Next, I was looking at the list of cars and thinking, well, maybe I'll get to drive another one. I'll see what interests me. And I saw that there was a Polestar 2 that was on the list of cars, and I was like, oh, I'd heard about that one recently in Kelley Blue Book as being like a nice luxury line for EVs that wasn't like a BMW or a Mercedes Benz or something like that. So I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And it was a Volvo line, but the lady who owned it, she actually was just kind of waiting bored because like people don't really know what Polestar is. Like she said that she had never, she never sees them out in the wild. Like she didn't know anyone else who had one, and like she says it, and people are like, "What's that?" Like nobody knows what it is. In fact, people I've told, like including Minkus, like, "Hey, I drove a Polestar 2." And they're like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, they're an offshoot of Volvo." So it's a European brand, and I gotta say, that car was so nice to drive. Like it felt wonderful. Like everything, like the way it handled, the way it moved, like the acceleration. It was just exactly what I want in a way a car handles, and it was so comfy. It had like nice sound system, nice AC system. It had like cool down the chair, which is nice here in Arizona. But it also, and this was just her particular Polestar 2, is it had like a performance spec, and she told me, like, we were looking around at one of the stoplights. She was like, oh, okay, I don't see anyone. All right, I want you to just like hit that accelerator. I was like, okay. So we pushed that torque, man, and it got off the line like right away, like whoa. I probably sound so silly having me talk about it like this, but it had a real, like, you felt that torque, man. It's something you can get in most electric cars, funny enough, but it just felt nice in that one for some reason. And it's funny how like you're still getting the electric feel, like that whole, the way they all behave. I mean, they all had the regenerative braking, they all had the torque off the line, they all were quiet as a cat, just no engine noise. Like the only reason the car was ready to move is that you look down at the UI and you see that it's in drive. But yeah, it's not shaking or vibrating, and it's not like trying to inch forward. You're just kind of sitting there. So I don't know. I love EVs so much. I get so excited when I get to drive them. But Star 2 was such a pleasant surprise for me to like get that excited about. But unfortunately, even like a used model, I would have to, I mean, in theory, if I had no debt with my current income, like if I just had to worry about my mortgage and my normal monthly payments, I could afford to to get a loan on a Polestar 2 from like 2021 or something, like a 5-year-old Polestar 2. And I think I would be very happy in that car. But unfortunately, I am not in that position. So I will not probably be getting one anytime soon. But it was just it was a really nice experience. I liked it a lot. And this was not something that I had planned on doing, but it's funny, Matsu, we had been playing Forza Horizon 5, and Forza is our friend. Forza is the game. Forza Horizon 5. And they had one of the electric cars that I got in that game was the Rivian R1S, and Rivian actually had a presence at the event, and they were doing like a raffle. We're giving away like Rivian jackets and stuff like that. So they had me register, and I thought, And one of them actually included a like 24-hour test drive with either their R1S or their R1T, which was the S is for the SUV model, the T is for the pickup truck model. So they had an S out there, so I thought, oh, I'll give it a try. I don't normally drive SUVs, so it's not, it wouldn't be my choice, but like, and when I actually drove it, it felt big. Like I was way up, like above the road, so like I was kind of looking down on everything, and you're really feeling like the suspension doing the work on the roads. So it was definitely a different experience, but it still had the kick. Like the model that he had was a triple motor, which I didn't know they did. I know they had dual motors, like if you wanted all-wheel drive, which I think all of their models do, but they also have like 3 motors and 4 motors. And it was a 3-motor model. So like it definitely had the acceleration and the torque that you normally get from an EV just from being a giant SUV. And I will say, like, as far as comforts and like features, it was comparable to the Polestar. Like it was a nice SUV, like as far as like luxuries and what have you. And I will say one feature I really liked a lot is when it came time to park again, they had this view where it's generating a top-down view of the car, and you can see all the lines that are around you, and it's something that's composited based on all the different cameras that are around the R1S. So, and that was like, oh man, this could spoil me bad. Like, and they had like cameras on the side view mirrors that showed you your blind spot. So it was like, just had a lot of nice features to kind of help you drive this giant thing. And I definitely could say that I appreciated, he was showing me the back and how you could like lower the seats flat. So if you wanted to put like a mattress back there and go camping, which I learned a new term yesterday, glamping, like glamorous camping, where like you want to be out in nature, but you don't want to give up your modern like conveniences. You're essentially camp LARPing. But like if I were to do something like that, which is probably how I would go camping, I would want to do it in something like a Rivian where I could be in there and I could turn it on and have like this gigantic battery that can power my electronics, and go in there and close the doors and sleep in a protected space where there's no bugs. I'm not an outdoorsman of any flavor. But, I would like, the thing is though, like the idea of driving out into the desert and looking at the sky without the light pollution and looking at the stars in the Milky Way, that has a lot of appeal to me. So yes, that's essentially exactly how I would do it. And in something like the Rivian, which has like a battery so large that it moves, that gigantic vehicle and can go like 400 miles on a charge. Like if I were to take that and go up to a mountain that's like, maybe 6 or 7 miles out of Phoenix and just park it there and then run it as a generator, like just as a battery, I could probably stay there for a weekend and not run out of juice if I'm just powering like my small electronics or whatever. But there were actually some things at the EV Expo. They were showing like camping gear and things that are designed to work in tandem with electric cars. Like if you wanted to be an outdoorsman and an EV enthusiast, like they had you covered. And that was a lot of fun. That was the kind of unexpected thing. That and all the classic cars that people retrofitted to be EVs, that was really cool. Man, I would love to be able to take some of you guys with me at one of these expos. Like if there's an opportunity that ever comes up, that would just be a lot of fun for me. Like, and it was so inexpensive. Like they were trying so hard to get people interested. Like they were like, the tickets were like $5. And they even told me, because I went the first day, they're like, hey, you want to come out a second day? We'll just give you another ticket. I'm like, really? Man. But it's wonderful. I had so much fun. I can't say enough good things about EVs. Like, if you're in the market for a car, please just test drive a Chevy Bolt or a Leaf or a Hyundai Ioniq or just give it a try. Just see how you like it. And if you have like the means, like if you live in a home with a garage, even if it's not one of those washer dryer outlets, that's 200 volts, even if you're just using the 100-volt, like typical house, you know, charger, you don't drive 100 miles a day. You drive like maybe 10. I don't know. Maybe some people do. Maybe some people are doing DoorDash or like Amazon deliveries all day, and they would want the level 2 charging. But even with level 1 charging, you can go home, plug in at night, never think about it, and it's plenty. It's fine. And I'm thankful that I was able to convince my dad to rent an electric vehicle last time he visited, just to kind of show him, like, yeah, this is, yeah, there you go. So yeah, man, I'm such an advocate for EVs. Like I love it. But that was a, oh gosh, I talked through the entire rest of stream about freaking cars. I'm also very much an urbanist and not I don't like our social car dependency. Even though I think EVs are super cool and I love them personally, I don't like how we're a car dependent society. I'm gonna throw that out there right at the end as a disclaimer. But yeah, thank you, Nomads, for dropping in and giving me this topic to talk about. That was something fun that I did. Oh, I mentioned the last car. After I drove the Rivian, I got on, and this one did have a queue. I got in line. I waited about 30 minutes, and then I got to drive the Lucid Air, a Grand Touring, which was like my money no object dream car for a long time, and it was also super fun. Unfortunately, I did not get the opportunity to go hard off the line. And I forgot to mention this before. When I was driving the Ioniq 6, I got next to someone who happened to be test driving the Lucid Air at the same time, and we were next to each other at a stoplight, and so we both pushed the pedal in, and I think we both got off the line, but the Lucid got off the line more. I'll just say that. I was eating it wouldn't be exhaust. What would it be? I was eating electrons. I was eating electrons pretty quick off of that line, but it was fun and it was nice to see it move, see it in person, and then to actually sit in the driver's seat and drive it. Even though I was going like 40 miles an hour, nothing that any car couldn't do. But still, it was a Lucid Air. I got to listen to the sound system. I got to feel the AC and drive it around a little. It was nice. It was a nice car. And it was very much an EV full on. Like, it didn't even have a setting for not regenerative braking. So like you were there and it was on. Like the only thing you had is like different levels of torque and power that you could set. Hi, Anna Hunt. I'll just call you Anna, if that's all right. I was talking about Saturday when I was at an EV test drive. Event over this weekend, and I got to drive a Lucid Air Grand Touring, which is something of an electric supercar. And yes, like Matsu said, the Lucid Sapphire model, which is their high-end performance, like $250,000 car, went up against the I don't remember if it was a Roadster or if it was their Performance Model S. It was their racing car at the time, and it was a drag race between the two, and the Lucid just like smoked the Tesla, and that made me happy because I don't like Tesla anymore. Even though like I had a visit from a friend and rented a Model Y, and I did enjoy driving that just as an EV. Aw. Hey, you know what? That is perfectly okay. We are living in a world today where like people are waiting longer to get their licenses, and there seems to be a real like hunger for like more good urbanism and more walkability, and just like getting away from the sprawl and the suburban like lifestyles, and just having to live in our cars and like sit in our metal boxes for like multiple hours a day just to get the most simple things. So like I'm even though I was just gushing about how much fun I was having driving these EVs, like I'm very much a fan of like, let's not need to do that anymore. What? Really? Oh man, things have changed. I think the way that it worked now. Granted, I'm kind of old. I'm kind of getting up there in years. I turned 40 this year. Just to give you an idea, but the way it worked where I grew up, we had to take a class. It was something like, it was either 15 or 20 hours. Like, it was just talking about like safety and what have you. So we did that, and then we had a well, the thing that nobody wants to admit is we're all a danger on the road. So the fact that like we're forced to do it is actually quite bad. Anywho, I'm coming up at the end of my time, so I'm so glad you came and said hello, and I hope. Oh, France, cool. Okay, yeah, I was just talking about one of my friends who's French had a dance event this last weekend, so we got to dance together for the first time after just having hung out on stream. But yes, anyway, I need to call it. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll be back next week for more fishing and, of course, for more dancing and working out during the week. My schedule is on Twitch, so if you guys want to check it out. Anyway, I'm literally out of time, so we gotta call this thing right now. Hope you all have a wonderful day, though, and above all else, be good. See you next time. Bye. Bye, Dora.